Welcome back to Life Behind the Curtains, the space where we go beyond titles, beyond LinkedIn bios, and beyond uploads. So we talk to the people building impact quietly, the ones carrying responsibility, the ones navigating new countries, new systems, and new expectation, while still choosing to show up. So today I'm joined by Hephzibah, a tech consultant, leadership coach, author, speaker, and founder of multiple initiatives impacting communities. But today, we are not here to talk about just achievements. We are talking about responsibility. We are talking about representation. We are talking about what it means to build while carrying a community on your back. So, Epsiba, how are you doing today?
I'm great, Jeevan. Thank you for having me. Really excited. Excited to be here.
So, before we dive into the story behind your amazing work, for those in the community who don't know you yet, how would you introduce yourself?
Ooh, you have done all of the introduction. When you were speaking, I said, wow, who is that person Jeevan is introducing? But like you mentioned, beyond titles and beyond my LinkedIn bio, I am a fun person. I'm an energetic speaker. That's how I like to see myself. And I'm backed by lots of vision and lots of dreams. And I just love to impact my world. So that's just who Hephzibah is.
You're smiling a lot today. So, what's one thing about today, or maybe even this morning or evening, that made you smile or feel alive?
Ooh, okay, I just came back from the gym. And I was rushing to meet the time. So I cut my gym session down by 20 minutes so that I can come get ready and get dressed. So it just made me refresh. I love to go to the gym, by the way. So it just kept me refreshed and I'm really excited about this discussion.
That's really nice. Cool. That's nice. So, for the past few days, like when I'm going through your social media, like your a few blogs, when when I see your journey, like it spans across careers and so many initiatives. But
Yeah.
let's rewind a bit. When you think back to the version of yourself before all these things, what was she like?
Ooh, the version of Hephzibah was shy.
Hmm.
She was timid. She she didn't want anyone to know her or see her. She was hidden. The version of Hephzibah, people say I'm very confident, but I had low self-esteem. Like it was really bad that I didn't want to engage with anyone. I didn't want to be in social circles. She was very scared. That was the version of Hephzibah before this whole like 360
Exactly.
transformation. Yeah.
That's how we all start. So, uh, this type of question, like I mostly ask to most of my guests, especially like I was a student, like I came to a new country, like I had a lot of challenges. So, like you took a huge leap, leaving your comfort zone, starting fresh in a new country, if I believe. So, can you
Yeah.
describe what exactly was going through your head at that moment, leaving a new country, leaving your home country and coming to a new country, new environment? What was going
Mm.
through?
Okay, interesting question. I love the question, Jivan. I've moved countries twice. I've moved and lived in two different countries.
Oh.
I'm originally from Nigeria, so my first move was to Ghana. That's where I
Mhm.
was a student, and I did my undergrad there in West Africa. Then I moved again to the United Kingdom, mainly for like professional development, working, and just like building myself again. So I moved twice. But a similar thread in both of the move is uncertainty, like you rightly mentioned.
Yeah.
The uncertainty of I'm in a new country. Do I know anyone? In both of the countries, I didn't have any family member, like no family member, even up to today in the UK, no family member that's close by. So there was no one to sort of like say, oh, I know my uncle or my aunt to go to. It was leveraging new communities and new relationships and networks that I formed in those
Mhm.
countries. So a lot of uncertainty.
And with this regarding, so what's any specific point was there, like when you thought maybe I'm not ready for this, and what made you kept going all these days?
There were a lot of times where I felt I was not ready, to be honest. But when I set a goal, I like to meet it. Like I am a goal getter. I'm very ambitious. I am a goal getter. I want to do something, and I'm always inspired by stories of other people that have done it. And I say, if they have done it, then I can definitely do it. So that kept me going. There are times where I was like, what am I doing here? Like when I transitioned to a new country, what am I doing here? Why is this so hard? But I was like, Hephzibah, you have no choice. First time I was in Ghana, I was like, Hephzibah, you have no choice. You have to make it work, like make it work and make it happen, right? And just like Nike says, just do it. That's always the mentality I have, and so it built resilience and it built determination in
Yeah,
me, such that when there were challenges in whatever, in like both the
yeah.
different countries I've lived in, I'm able to overcome or find a way around it.
Yeah, same thing. Like that's the thing. That's the thing. Like my audience also can connect. Like a lot of people coming out from the home country, like facing challenges. No one is there to guide. No one
Yeah,
talk about that hardest days actually. But you know those days, like the people will cry, but still, like you keep going no matter what.
yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. Now, like. Can you just give a small summary of the initiatives, list of initiatives you're running? I think I know, like you're doing a lot. Like, but to my audience, like, what all the initiatives you're running at the moment?
Okay. I am driven by initiative and community. So first of all, I own my own charity that has been on for 8+ years. I started it after I just finished high school. But of course, because I've moved across countries, the format has changed a bit, but it was an idea I had, an idea birthed that started in Nigeria, and the name of the initiative is Hebzi Scholars Counseling Foundation. Specifically, we're targeting two groups of people. The first are the young ones, the teenagers in high school, middle school. We work with them across Africa. We're starting with Africa, and the goal is to expand to the world.
Mhm.
The second category of people are the early career starters, like people within 1 to 5 years of their career journey. I have had lots of career shock, especially because I've moved and navigating adult life, and I just want to kind of like support them. So right now we're still focusing on the first phase of the charity, which is working with students. So sometimes when I travel back to different countries in Africa, I do school outreach, I do mentorship, I do like workshops with them, career workshops. So that's where we are starting. But of course, there's a
Amazing.
second arm that would expand. So that's one initiative. And I would say the idea is not to start multiple initiative, but the goal behind one initiative is who I am, what are my values, what am I passionate about, how much time do I have? You'd be surprised at some of the initiatives that I'm talking about now. I've
Mhm.
thought about them 3, 4 years ago,
Go.
but I didn't start then until I had the nudge, and I was like, okay, I've grown as a human being to run this initiative. I can contribute in this way, and I can manage my time in this way, and I can work with the team. So we'll go into it, but that's so the charity is just one. I run a coaching initiative right now, and I also run a faith-based initiative for people who are Christians, but sometimes we'll have workshops that's open to everyone, like who's kind of like professing faith, because faith and religion is just a different, it's part of a lot of people's lives, and it's expressed in different ways. You don't have to be Christian to kind of like have something
Yeah.
that you believe in, right? So that's that. And the fourth one is uh how do I even describe this one? Is more fashion.
People
I
will be
laugh at
more
it.
interested in that. Like you can talk about
In the
it.
fashion, okay, that's why I hesitated a bit because I'm like, Jeevan is inspiring people to be public speakers. Okay, where how is fashion? And so the initiatives are, they're part of who I am. I see them as one. That's Hephzibah. So Hephzibah shows up as a public speaker. She shows up as a coach, coaching people in public speaking and leadership. She shows up as like a 9 to 5, a 9 to 6, or 9 to 8, depending on the project, is
Love
software
it.
engineering and tech consultancy. But other parts of her is the fashionista. So and I've seen that I'm able to bring all of these pieces into what I do. So there's a fashion component where I'm teaching people about styling because I love fabrics and I love outfit. So that arm is still in the baby stage and I'm still working on it. But those are the initiatives I'm currently managing.
So much, so much. Amazing. And all the very best. Like you have a lot to go. And also, like, can you describe that in one word? Actually, you have explained a lot, but still, what motivates you to do that work, even when recognition is not that much guaranteed?
It's Impact and its
Mm,
purpose. Two
great.
things. So impact and purpose. In fact, I want to add the third thing, value. There's a time I had put on my LinkedIn banner three core areas of my life is value, impact, purpose. You can say VIP. We are providing value, and that value is translating to impact, and that impact is translating to my understanding of my purpose, right? Why am I on earth?
Wow.
And so it just guides me.
So
Yeah.
it's VIP.
VIP, yes.
Oh, that's cool. That's nice.
Value, impact, purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is that one lesson about leadership, or do you had any mentors, or like what exactly is that one lesson that no one taught you, but you wish someone had? So you can talk about your mentors or like any lesson that you have missed during your childhood, anything. Yeah.
Okay, okay, good question, Jeevan. Oh, one lesson that okay, I'm gonna be very funny because we're still like in growing up stage as adults. I would say is how hard adult life can be. And when I mean adult life, like life after school can be. But that's a general big picture, right? But I would say managing yourself and managing people, it's much harder than I thought or
Yeah,
than I suspected it was. And mentors helped me to know how to show up professionally, manage professional relationship, manage friendship, building communities, how to forgive and let go, and how to resolve conflict. I have been in conflict situation between like myself and a higher up leader, and just how do you strategically and respectfully like listen to the other person and resolve conflict amicably without escalating it. I've had to learn from mentors. So that I said managing relationship is one thing I would say.
that's cool. Managing relationships. I will take that point. And also, while building all these multiple initiatives you talked about in the beginning, exactly at what point did you realize doing a job is not enough? You have to jump out of your comfort zone. What point? Like, is there any point in your life?
Yeah, I would say last year, 2025, specifically, because a lot of the initiatives that you see on my profile now,
Hmm.
a lot of them came to limelight last year, and I'm still building. Like I don't think I have arrived where
Yeah.
that the place I want, the vision I have for each of the initiatives, I haven't gotten there at all. But last year was a defining moment for me where I was ill for a short while, and I had to take time off for my mental health and just for me to like take care of myself. And I just asked myself, wait, is that all there is to life? 9 to 5? Like I'm not saying 9 to 5 is bad. I still like do like nine, actually do sometimes 9 to 7 or 9 to 6. But I'm just like, wait, apart from the work I'm doing internally within an organization and just for a company, how much of myself have I hidden, quote unquote, or have I not like investigated or not shown to the world that
Hmm.
I'm waiting for and I'm waiting for the right time. And I say this with balance that I don't mean start at 9 to 5 and the next time you're doing 10 or 15 projects. If you have the bandwidth, great. But it's just how to structure things. Some of the initiatives I run, I don't run by myself. I've worked with a team of 20 people across these initiatives, different times, different volunteers, different people helping me out. And that's because I have a 9 to 5, right? And I needed to like display my talent and not wait. That's the first one. The second one is what helped me to get out of my comfort zone is overcoming imposter syndrome and doubt, and even
Hmm.
FOPO, fear of other people's opinion,
Yeah.
right? For a while, like my charity, I had that in 2017. We're in 2026, right? So next year will be 10 years. That was when the charity was registered. But I'm also not very eager that, I'm also not panicking that next year is 10 years. I should have impacted 1 million lives in like 10 years. I,
Yeah.
I had to put a pause on that charity for me to
Hmm.
grow as a person because the truth is, for whatever thing you're doing, you can't necessarily run that effectively if you haven't grown as a person.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
if at any point in time I feel like the initiatives are maybe draining me so much and I haven't grown, I can put a pause on it. Why do I say that? Because I'm not in competition with anyone. I am
Hmm.
inspired by people, but I want to build something that lasts. I want to build something that beyond me, it's a legacy. So there are times, so I took a break from my charity for about 5 to 6 years. We were not
Oh,
doing anything. Yeah, we're not doing
okay.
anything. While I was in school, I was building myself. Even when I went to Ghana, I ran it part-time to test the waters. Then when
Mm-hmm.
I came to the UK, I had the opportunity to travel to Uganda. I ran it in Uganda as well. And now that I've run it in two different countries, I have a struct like a model, and I'm like building teams and like doing things behind the scenes. So I'm growing and scaling according to my capacity and pace. And I've seen that I've grown so much as an individual. So I'll say two things. Understanding that there are other parts of yourselves that you may want to show at some point, and
Yeah.
the judgment, the call to judgment is on you, like not on anyone else. You know best, you know yourself best. Second of all, overcoming imposter syndrome and overcoming FOPO, like fear of other people's opinion, is what would help you just break out and just do the things that you have to do if you're truly passionate about it beyond your 9 to 5.
Sure. And as you mentioned, on adding top of that, having break is sometimes necessary to grow or evolve as a person. Yeah, that's really a good point actually. And also, what do you feel like? What's the difference between doing something because it looks good and doing it because it matters?
Hmm. Hmm. There are two different ways we can see doing something because it looks good.
Hmm.
I'll first of all ask you, what is your why? Popular Simon Sinek, like everyone always uses him as an example. What is your why? What is your why? But it's actually that question has come to stay with me so much more. What is my why? Am I doing it because it looks good? Who does it look good to? Does it look good to me, or does it look good to people that care or people that don't care? Am I doing it for the applause? I love the earlier question you asked. How do you do something even without recognition? A lot of times, as a founder, as a visionary, as someone starting something new, you have to overcome doing something with for the main purpose of recognition. Because if you do things only because of recognition, you would you
Yeah,
would give up when you don't see the recognition,
got it.
or and your expectation will always be dashed, right?
Hmm.
But back to the question, I would say that um what if you're doing it because it looks good, it's not sustainable, in my opinion, and with my experiences building across industries and across different initiatives. But if you do it because it matters, it still
Matters.
goes back to the question, what is your why? Why am I running a charity? There are other charities in the world. I'm like, if I have the resource, if I have the network, if I have the opportunity to impact one life, I use the power of one life. I wrote two books.
Yeah.
The logic behind that, one person is going to read this. Two people would read it. And even if they're not two people, my siblings will read it.
We're gonna talk more about it, so don't want to
Okay,
disclose it now.
amazing. Amazing. Yeah. So teaser, let me not spoil too much.
Yeah, yeah. And
So
let's
I would
move it to
say,
your. Oh yeah. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
I'll just end by saying, like, do things because it matters to people, and then there's impact. And even when you don't see the impact now because it's just you, if you keep at it, and when there's a true definition of impact, you would see it
Mm,
unfold.
got it. And now let's talk about your corporate experience since you had it a lot. So I assume you started as a software engineer, right? Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
what was the hardest part about balancing that technical work with these kind of leadership responsibilities? Because I was also a software engineer, so I knew it.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sincerely, I started as a software engineer even from Ghana. So I worked with a tech consulting firm, a tech startup in Ghana. Did a bit of software engineering, did a bit of product management, did a bit
yeah.
of program, because with startups you do a lot
Yeah,
of
everything. Yeah.
things beyond just writing code. I would say at that time, even right now, like right now, so I'm not like properly writing code like my day to day right now,
Hmm.
but I'm doing more like high level, like product management, project management, stakeholder, like it's more of like Scrum Master entire flow. So from um reviewing product and reviewing code all the way to like shipping and engaging with stakeholders, user requirements. So it's more all encompassing right now. I'll say at that time, as a software engineer, I didn't have a lot of time. Genuinely, like I was just swamped with work. It's a demanding career,
Yeah.
but it keeps you grounded. You understand how software work. Like I have so much appreciation when I see website, when I see
Hmm.
fellow software developers and software engineers right now. I'm just like I understand your pain. I understand when you're working during weekends. I understand when
Yeah.
you can't go home till 9 p.m. I understand when your code is broken. I understand when the demo is not working. I understand when there's a bug in your code. I understand when the users are like, we need this this right now. Like I understand all of those. I understand when you're trying to explain to your manager that there's no delay. The code is actually working, but
Okay.
sometimes working, but it's just that it's not displaying. I know, and you have to like manage expectation all through. I
Yeah.
understand what it feels like to go home and just feel like, am I really a good software engineer? Because something is broken.
Understandable,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And did you ever feel like you were in two direction, coding versus leadership or the whatever? And how did you decide where to focus?
Good question. I would say at my 9 to 5, or especially early on in my career, I gave it all my best. I gave it all my best. But it didn't stop me from owning aspects. So when we talk about like leadership and like software engineering or any technical career, you're bringing your whole self. Yes, I know part of me also is a public speaker. I know at some point in my role as software engineer, I wasn't doing public speaking every single day, right? I wasn't like I was just code. It was just writing code and reviewing code and writing code and fixing merge requests and like fixing comments, and it was just everything technical. But it didn't take out the leadership aspect of me when I needed
Yeah.
to own my project, when I needed to speak about the project, when I needed to push back a bit with users about the product or like the software and the tool we're building,
Mm.
right? So I would say yes, some point, depending on the project, depending on the season you're in or the time you're in, you may use one part of your strength much more. And
Mm.
another part, another time or another season, depending on the project on or the company you're in, you may use all of your strength together. But just remember that it's still you, it's still your
Yeah.
personality, and
Got it.
you're I tell myself I'm defined beyond code. Like code is not, if you tell me I'm only a software engineer, you're missing a larger part of my life. And there's much more that defines me. And depending on the role, I can show all of my skills, or I can leverage and lean onto one particular skill until I
Mm.
can show the other.
Okay, that's a nice answer. And we all know, like, we've been into Toastmasters and a lot of leadership communities, but what is that lesson you learned about people and leadership that you could only learn from corporate environments?
What is that one lesson you learn about from leadership? Okay. Because yeah, I've been in Toastmasters for 5 plus years and still
Yeah.
counting. About incorporate, I would say I'll go back to managing expectation as a
Mm.
leader.
Okay.
Managing expectation is very important. First of yourself. Like what can I actually do? It's not managing expectation doesn't mean you're doubting yourself. Within, so now I have my 9 to 5. So I'm giving 8 hours. In that 8 hours, I need to write my code. I need to speak to my manager. I need to go
Yeah.
on lunch break for maybe 30 or 45 minutes. And I need to have my to-do. I always have books. I have stack of books even in my house, and I have like stack of scheduler and to-dos. All because I want to write. If I remember something, I'll write it down. So I have all of those. So I need to manage my expectation. Like, what can I do and achieve today? And what's the leeway that if my manager calls me or pulls me into another meeting, into another project, or something is delayed, how much leeway am I giving myself? Because if you don't manage your expectation, you always feel frustrated and
Yeah.
disappointed at your performance, right? So that's
Yeah.
person, and that's what I've learned in being a leader. And this came from Toastmasters, and I was able to translate that skill, leadership skill,
Yeah.
in corporate world. Number two, managing expectation of others, and that's where communication comes in. I've met
Mm.
so many people, Jeevan, that say software engineers and technical people don't know how to communicate. And yes, it may be true in some contexts, but it may not be true in other contexts,
Yeah.
right?
Got
So
it.
communication is very powerful. And why today I'm a leadership coach and public speaking coach as well. It's not because I just want to be a full-time public speaker. That's part of it. But I've seen that communication and speaking up and knowing how to speak is important for all careers and
Yeah.
all, because
Exactly.
you're going to speak to someone, even if you're an IC in technical terms, individual contributor,
Mm.
you're definitely going to pitch your product
Yeah. Yeah.
and your software and whatever app you're building to someone, and you need to know how to say it without going too deep into technical jargon. You need to know how to tell a story. So I would say managing expectation of others requires you communicating. It's part of leadership. You can't run away from that. So those are the two main things I would share.
Got it. So there is always a talk, like when I started my corporate, like, okay, you go into corporate, you work all day, you can't still manage your passions. So still there are people who thinks like that. So for someone who thinks corporate life is just a ladder to climb and you can't even manage your passions along, what would you tell them they are actually missing?
Hmm. You're I don't want to create fear. When I speak to people, I try not to create fear. So sometimes
Mm,
when you're like, you have FOMO, fear of missing out. Everyone is like, what am I missing? Should I start my podcast today? First of all, just calm down. Like breathe in,
yeah.
breathe out. I do a lot of breathing exercises. So tell people breathe in, breathe out, calm down. First thing, calm down. I like the last point you mentioned about people taking breaks. So whenever you take, whether it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes break, just calm down. Write down what are your passions. I love
Yeah.
to write. So write it. What are your passions? Be realistic. I think I like to think realistically as well and logically as well. And sometimes you may even step out by like trusting the process, even when you don't see the end of the tunnel, by just trusting the process. But first of all, write down what are your goals, what are your passions, what do you actually want to do, and
Mm,
can you do it in 3 months? You may think you can do it in 3 months, and you end up
mm,
doing it in 6 months. It's fine. It's
yeah.
completely fine. Don't think of yourself as a failure because that can kill passion and kill motivation and kill
Mm,
drive. So write that down. And number three, ask yourself, when can you start? Don't be afraid to fail. In the UK specifically, because I've lived across countries as well, and I've visited a number of other countries. I've done 4 continents and counting. So
mm,
Africa, Asia, Europe right now, and America. And whenever I travel to different countries, it's not just for fun and tourism. I try to understand, how does this environment work? How do the people think? In the UK, sometimes, from my personal experiences and interaction, sometimes failing is frowned upon. Like if you feel like you're a loser, oh damn it, in it, like man, you're a loser, man, come on, that kind of thing. But in the US, I'm juxtaposing, of course, this is
yeah.
context specific, right? I'm not
Got it.
generalizing. There's something like, you feel, you get up and like you do it again, like like you get me. So I would say start small, and even when you fail, don't be hard on yourself that, oh, I'm a failure, I failed. Failure, according to like someone I listen to a lot, is teaching you how to do something in another way, right? Of course, we know of the Albert Einstein. I try to use all of this people. I draw motivation and inspiration from them. I use a lot of footballers and basketballers who have made it to the NBA that didn't start like that, or
Yeah.
people who dropped out of school, or who were drug addicts and today they are billionaires. Like they had tried a number of things that didn't work, but they kept at it, right? Or they use a different
Exactly.
strategy. So combining your passion and 9 to 5, calm down first, write down what you actually want to do. Because you can have it in your head that you want to do something, but when you write it down, you are able to think clearly. And by writing it down, you can speak to someone that can help
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
And then you start small. When you start small, even when you fail, you can re-strategize and say, okay, I will not do it this way, I'll do it another way. Yeah, so that's what I'll say.
That's really amazing how you structure the things. Like I was noting all these things.
You
Yeah, it's amazing. I just want to tell the audience, write down your passions, put a timeline, ask
Yeah,
where you can start.
yeah.
Even though like it's a big thing, like start small and don't
Smart.
feel afraid or don't feel behind. That's amazing. So
Exactly.
it's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
amazing like how you structure the things.
yeah.
That's getting inspired. And let's move out to another segment. Like we always talk about growth, leadership, building, writing, but I want to touch on something that many high achievers don't openly talk about. Have you
Mm.
experienced that burnout?
Oh, yes. High achievers don't talk about it, but I talk about it even in my book. Okay, that's spoiler alert. Well, okay,
Yeah.
let me come back to the question. I talk about burnout. I talk about mental health. I talk about feeling tired and stressed and anxious. I talk about feeling like I'm not good enough. That's
Mm,
imposter syndrome, right? All of this like makes you burn out quickly, actually. And there's research. Like I don't have like research at the top of my head, but I did my research even when I was like writing. I'm like, how many people go through stress? How many people feel burnout? And not just high achievers, but even top CEOs feel it and they
got
go
it.
through it. So it's not new. If you're feeling burnt out and you're feeling stressed and you're feeling anxious, it's not new. Trust me, there are thousands of people feeling the same way
Yeah,
that same day
true.
and that same moment. And there have been thousands and tens of thousands of people that have felt it, that have overcome it, and have managed it better. So you're not alone. First point. Okay. And now the real question is, how do you manage it?
Yeah,
What makes me burn out and what makes me so stressed may be different from what makes you Jeevan burn out, right? And
yeah.
different from every other person. But I need to narrow down and navigate. And identify what actually causes me to burn out. Am I not enjoying my job? Is there something that's underlying? I mean, I've done therapy, I've spoken to a lot of coaches, so I can speak about this extensively. Do I need to seek professional help? Do I need to cut down on something? Do I need to take a break on something to take care of myself? Because if you're not functioning at 100% capacity, I learned this at the corporate, my corporate world, right? Your employer, your manager, everyone expects you to like jeevan today 100%, tomorrow 100%, next tomorrow 100%. And you would know when you're not at 100%. Like
Yeah.
your manager and people external don't know, but they expect 100% from you every day, even during the weekends if you have to work. But
Yeah.
you need to draw the line and say, today I'm at 50. What can I do with this 50% capacity? How can I manage the expectation of myself? And how can I recuperate and rest with the like during the weekend so that I can come back to 100%? I would say that involves self-leadership and self-management, genuinely to work on burnout, rest, do the things you love. I picked up writing, I picked up running. Right now, I'm more consistent at going to the gym. I sometimes write, I sometimes sleep much more. I sometimes cut down on movies and social media to sleep. Sometimes I sleep at 9 or 10 p.m. and it's fine. Like, because I know my
Yeah.
capacity, I know what I want to do to get 100%. So what explore, like do so much so that you can be and always be at 100%, know how to manage and manage yourself. Yeah.
God. And this one I have to ask, like, can someone genuinely love what they do and still burn out? What do you feel?
Yes. Yes, yes. Imagine if I was running all of these initiatives. I can go deep into the team. I have a team of graphic designers. I have a
Hmm.
team that helps me with
Wow.
social media posts. I have a team that helps me to even brainstorm. I just call someone like, I'm thinking about this. What do you think about it? I have a team
Hmm.
that helps me to connect me to like one person I work with. He almost knows everyone. He'll
Oh,
connect me to this person, connects me to that person. So I lean on to community, and that's why I haven't burnt out, right?
wow.
And so struck why people burn out even when they're doing what they love is because structure is missing, number one. You're not taking advantage of community. You can't do it all. I remember I told you that if I want to do a podcast, I would come to you and say, Jeevan, how do I do this?
Got
What
it.
can you tell me about it? And that's where leveraging community and my network is. Definitely you can research online, you can ask ChatGPT, but
Yeah.
I found human beings to be so much more resourceful
Exactly.
than ChatGPT because they are it's context based, number one. They have walked it, they know the inside out. ChatGPT will give you insight, research will give you insight. Good, phenomenal. But speak to someone if you can and if you
Real-time
have the
experience.
people.
They have
Real
been through that.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have real time
Exactly.
experience.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Got it. So
Yeah.
now let's move on to your books actually. So to all
Yay!
those people who are hearing, like now for those who may not know, Hephzibah recently published two books. Correct me if I am wrong. Yeah, you can see Resilience, and the other one is Teens Compass, right?
Yeah, Teens
Yeah.
Compass, yeah.
First of all, congratulations. It's so inspiring. So tell us about the books. What are they really about? In summary, I don't want to hear a lot because people are still like, please purchase it. Like it's available online, right?
Yes,
Uh,
available on Amazon.
yeah,
Yes, Ingram
yeah.
Spark is available. Yeah, you can get
That's
it.
great. What are they really about, and who did you write them for?
Great question. Thank you, Jimmy, for asking. So, on February 15, like I started writing. February 15 was when like both of the books were online, available across all platforms. So just a few weeks ago, so very recent, and I'm still enjoying that moment of celebrating both achievements. I started writing last year, and so the book Teen Resilience is written for young students, so
Mm,
students in the tertiary space in their third or fourth year, uh, about to go into the working world, and of course for people who are in their early careers as well. But so for
mm,
all professionals actually, because I have people who are still senior leaders that gave me feedback on my book, so it cuts across for professionals, for students. I can't, all this book, Resilience also applies to people who have just left high school. It's a
mm,
memoir. It's about my journey, across continents, across countries, just bringing together the different experiences that I've had and fleshing out insight from these experiences. Because when I went through the experience, I just could not figure it out. But thinking in hindsight, right now I can bring out lessons that people can even apply to their journey. So apart from reading from my journey or reading about my journey, you get to apply and take the lessons and the insight and the framework and tools I shared in the book to your own personal life. So that's what resilience is about. It's about faith, it's about journey, it's about
Mm.
perseverance, not giving up, but not just the word not giving up, but how to re-strategize and how to do something else, right? So that's what resilience is about. And of course, being resilient. Book one. So for book two, Teens Compass, it's for teenagers. The age range is between 10 to 19,
Yeah.
people in middle school, high school, or people in like higher, like upper grade, higher grade of their secondary school journey. I would say that Teens Compass is for people who are about to step into the university. So
Mm.
before you go to university, you're thinking about what are some of the things and frameworks that I need. And this the Teens Compass was written by two authors, so myself and another author. So I'm a co-author on that book, but majorly the lead author. So myself and Val, we wrote from our experiences of some of the thoughts that we had growing up in like Africa, developing countries, and things that we thought about. The thing I would say as a main message is Teens Compass tells you in real time that sometimes the dreams you have as a teenager may not always come to pass like exactly the way you need it or the way you dreamt about it. But what you can do is to take advantage of the opportunities you have, whether you're from a developing country or from a developed country. Take advantage of the opportunities you have, ask questions, leverage your mentors, leverage your school counselors. And even if you don't have those, you can leverage online media right now as we have. But strategies of building communities, asking questions, speaking up, interviewing skills, doing your research, like just knowing that wherever you go to, whatever opportunity you have, you want to make the best of it and like leave the door open for other people. So make a good impression. That's just what Teens Compass is about for teenagers. They get to see what the working world is like before
Mm.
they reach there, before they get there, and they get to see what university life is like before they get there. So that's just it gives them a sneak peek into the future and they
That's great.
can embrace their future
Mm.
with much more confidence. Yeah.
That's great. I will be attaching those links in my video bio for sure. So
Thank you
people who
so
want to
much.
purchase, go and have a go for it. So for people who listening who don't know, what inspired you to write them in the first place, or someone inspired you, or what?
Good question. What inspired me? I always thought I was going to be an author by age 40. And
Oh,
that's when I wanted to, that's when I
great.
wanted to release my, it's funny. And there's nothing wrong with being an author at age 40. But I told myself, why am I question myself a lot. Why am I waiting to age 40 before following
Mhm.
my dream of writing? By the way, I write on LinkedIn, I write on Medium, and recently I started Substack. And I have lots of writings in my journal that never made it to online media because I'm waiting for the right time. I'm waiting for the right audience. Kind
Yeah.
of, I need to know how to structure my thoughts. So I was wait, would I be able to remember all of my experiences by age 40? That was me questioning myself. What are some things that I can share now that people can benefit? Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes we wait till like we've made it, we're successful, we have grown so much in our career before we start. But right now, Jeevan, you're doing something that is inspiring other people, even running your own podcast. That anybody who wants to start a podcast,
Exactly. Yeah.
I believe that they want to start from you. Do you understand? Because you have started and you're working the journey
Yeah. Yeah.
rather than going from someone who has 20 million subscribers.
Yeah.
Like, how did you get to 20 million? I know one day you get to the millions of subscribers, but I can't see you now that, oh, this is how Jeevan is starting. You are growing and I can learn from you. So you actually have something to share. That
Yeah.
was what motivated me to write my book. And I started writing actively last year in May. So May 2025, I started
Wow.
writing. I was very consistent at it. Every week I was writing. Some weeks I couldn't write, but I caught up the next week. I'll write when I get inspiration in the bus, I would write and I'm in the train on the tube. I just have a note that I'll just scribble my thoughts and ideas and I just kept writing, and then working with a team of editors. I had a personal editor that kept me accountable to meet the milestones and deadlines, and then we had people who designed the book cover and we went through Amazon. They will
Mm.
have the Kindle Direct publishing route. Like we had to literally do our research, understand each of the process. So from writing to formatting to publishing to editing
Publishing.
to printing to being online on Amazon. It's a whole journey. But that was, I mean, I'll say the different experiences of
Yeah.
knowing that I have something to share and I don't want to wait till last minute. And
Right, right.
that's what made me.
So that was my another question, like how you navigated the publishing process. Did you seek a
Oh.
publisher? Yeah. So like if someone want to write a book and they are feeling unqualified, like what do you want to say?
No, it's a good question. So I use a self-publishing route. What that
Mm,
means is, so you work. I didn't go to a publishing company per se. I worked with a private independent book editor and publisher, and they sort of like helped me go through the process. So the process of publishing, you write, have your manuscript. Once you have your manuscript ready, you send it to a book editor or book publisher. But this was an independent person. She wasn't affiliated with a publishing house or a publishing agency. So I worked with her. She did book editing for me. She reviewed and she had formatted it because she's a certified book editor and book publisher, but running independently on her own as a sole proprietor. So she did all of those for me and always kept me on my toes, gave me feedback, and we decided that we're going to structure the English, like the writing format based on UK styles. I took my courses.
yeah.
I actually joined a group called Writers Hub. They connect writers
Oh.
across the globe and they meet every day at 3 times a day. So 8 a.m. EST, 12 noon, and 4 p.m. So there are days where during my lunch break, when it's 8 a.m. their time, I'll join and write. When I'm about to sleep, before I sleep, because they meet on
Mm,
Zoom. I'll join them and write. So that helps me to build my pace and build momentum. When we're done writing, formatting the manuscript, then we started the Amazon journey. That is a different journey altogether. Because we had to upload the e-copy, and sometimes you get feedback that no, we
mm,
need this format, we need that. So we had to do that journey as well. But before we got to Amazon stage, I usually think concurrently. I think like what are some of the processes that can be running simultaneously. So while I was writing and editing, I had reached out to a different team, people who are graphic designers professionally,
yeah.
to
Mm,
design my book cover. I didn't do it myself. I mean, I could have done it on Canva, but I'm like, no, it has to be excellent. So I outsourced that. They were doing the design, and I had a community of people that I would ask, does this design make sense? We had
mm,
iterated the design for each of the book covers at least 5 times because like I don't want this design. This is the message. It has to be great. It has to be excellent. So that was happening. So I didn't stress about book cover design while I focused on writing, and my editor was there to guide me. So yeah.
that's nice. And for someone listening right now, even though me, who has a book inside them, but keeps
Yes.
procrastinating, what practical first step would you advise?
Whew. Practical first step, have a journal.
Yeah. Oh.
Have a journal. And in fact, what should that okay, have a journal that you start writing. And it doesn't matter if it takes you 1 year, 2 years. I started writing since last year, but mind you, I had thoughts of writing for like 2, 3 years, but I took it more seriously last year. And number two, have a printed copy. I wish I have an A4 paper that it's not here with
Mm,
me right now. But last year around July or August, when I had progressed, I'd not completed the chapters of Resilience book. It has XX chapters. I want people to go get it.
mm,
I'd not completed all the chapters. I had felt demotivated at some point and tired. I got a friend to print out the front page cover of my book Resilience and I put it in my room. So every day I woke up by the bedside, I saw my book, but it was just on A4 paper.
mm.
Every day I came back into the room after I returned back from work. The paper was just there on
Wow.
the
Yeah.
on the table by my bedside. At some point I hung it on the wall. It fell down because I didn't use a
Mm,
good tape. But there was always a point of contact. I was seeing my book 7 days a week, and that helped me finish mentally.
yeah.
And even with that, I could see my second book as well. So I would say do these two things because you seeing it would help you and would propel you to write. Yeah.
That's really nice, actually. So this will inspire you anyway. Like when you finally held the published copy in your hands, what was going through your mind?
I was so excited. I was so excited. First of all, my pictures on the front cover, I was so excited. I was just
Yeah,
like, wait, for me, I was just like, wow, is this it? Like, is this it? I was like, whoa, this is it actually. This is the book that has taken months and months of my whole time. Like my weekends, after Toastmasters and if you catch up with friends, it was writing. I had dedicated so much time. I was like, wow. It felt like, when I sometimes use the word pregnant kind of, but like when you have thought of an idea or you have conceived a vision or an idea and you see it come to life, you can't really explain the feeling, but you know that wow, like I'm finally holding what I've birthed for several months and several years. And if it applies to you, like I'm finally holding this. I can't really explain the feeling, but it was breathtaking. It was just like I heaved a sigh of relief, like, God, thank you. Like, wow, thank you, Lord. Like, I'm like, yeah, we did it finally.
yeah. I know,
So
like you put
it's a
all the hard
beautiful,
work. Yeah, it's finally
yes,
happening. Yeah,
it's
I know.
finally
I know.
happened. Exactly.
That's amazing. So we talked about where you have been, and but I'm so curious, like about what you're becoming now. So what part of you is still evolving right now?
Good question. The part of me that's still evolving is so this is my career goal. I want to go all the way to like high, like high senior leadership. And that's a part of me that's still evolving, especially in the corporate world, where apart from just being a junior or just a mid-level software
Right.
engineer or tech consultant, but I am overseeing multiple regions and across like different continents. So that high level strategic leadership is what I am is what Hephzibah is growing into. And it may take a number of years, but I'm committed to that journey where I can work because I have a lot of experiences in different continents, right? Traveling, working across different projects, but how can I drive larger scale
Mm,
impact in the corporate world and also in charity as well because I
yeah,
have insights in both areas. So that's the part that's evolving. Of course, the part that's evolving in Hephzibah as well is the lady that's enjoying life and experiencing
exactly.
life. It's one thing for us to have the career goals and the dreams, and I want to start a podcast, and you forget to be present in the moment.
Mm,
Hephzibah is absolutely present in the moment. I want to travel. Actually, as I'm recording this, I'm thinking of I want to do is it sky jumping or skydiving? I've
oh
seen
yeah,
a few.
yeah.
I've seen a
Mm,
few in Dubai. I want to do that. Like I just have a lot of things on my bucket list. I want to travel to much more countries, many more countries. I want to try different things, right? So that's the Hephzibah that's still evolving. That want to try a lot of things. And Hephzibah that's a lifelong learner. So this part would always evolve.
that's great. Now we're coming to the end of the podcast. Few more questions. So, what are you now trying to protect? Like your energy, your peace, or your ambition?
Ooh, that's a very beautiful question, Jeevan. I want to protect, it's hard to protect all at the same time, but I want to protect my peace, number one. That's the very essence of why I do what I do. Because if I am not peaceful and if I have lost my peace, I can't think. That's just me, right? I can't think, I can't operate, I can't manage the things I'm managing, I can't innovate, I can't overcome circumstances and issues and challenges that I face. So I really always want to protect my peace. And even when something comes up that I can't, that still to take my peace, is the reminder that I need to go back to do things that bring my peace back. It could be through faith, it could be through prayer, it could be through hanging out with community, doing a fun activity, but I want to just protect that. Because when I protect my peace,
Mm,
it fuels me, it fuels my energy.
yeah.
Like my energy can go low if I'm unhappy. My energy can be drained if I'm somewhere that it's not making me happy or with people that don't make me happy, right? Like different my the network and the people I have matters a lot. And if my energy is high and I'm thinking well and I'm at peace, it
Mm,
fuels every ambition. Like there's nothing wrong in having ambition, but the question is, what are you being ambitious for? Like, is it for a good cause? Is it for your own development? And even if you're ambitious for your own development and growth, there's nothing wrong with that. Like you're growing, because when you grow to a great level, you can be of much more value to people that would meet you at the state which you have grown. So I feel like those are three questions, but I'll start with peace, number one, then I'll go to my energy, number two, then I'll go to ambition. But it starts from peace. Yeah.
So, one final question. If someone listening today feels behind in life, what would you tell them? I think you're
Someone
muted. Yeah. Yeah.
feels, yeah, if
Yeah.
someone feels behind in life, oh, that's a very beautiful question. First of all, you're not behind in life. And I like the fact that you use the word feels, because sometimes our feelings can be not because our feelings are wrong, but sometimes they can not be 100% accurate. Especially, you need to now ask yourself, what's the fact? Am I being factual, or am I being emotional, or am I just using my feelings? It's good to have intuition, but don't just base your life or make decision only based on your feelings. Because sometimes maybe you're sad that day and that's why you're feeling that way. So you just need to ask, is this a factual decision? Is it a factual statement that I can back up? You're not behind in life. Why? Because where you are today, where I am, where you are, Jeevan, today, is not where you were 10 years ago,
Yeah.
5 years ago, 2 years
Yeah.
ago. So I don't know whoever is thinking about being behind. My question to that person is, with what? Like, what are you comparing you being behind to? Your peers, your mates, your friends, yourself? And
Mm.
why I say that is so that it limits the tension and the anxiety you have by putting pressure on yourself that, oh, I'm behind. So we need to eliminate that first of all.
Yeah.
And the second thing I'll tell you is also gratitude. Like, be grateful for where you are now, but don't stop evolving. Don't stop evolving. You're not behind, because the experiences and the things you have had right now can help many people. But when you don't appreciate your journey, when you don't honor your journey, you think that it's, oh, nothing, there's nothing good about my story, there's nothing good about what I've done. No, there's so many people who are not where you are, and there's so many people that wish to be where you are. I use the statement in certain faith circles. People say where you are was the place you prayed for, or you wished for, or you dreamt about. Where I am right now, a few years ago, was the place that I prayed, wished, dreamt about, hoped for. And so where I'll be tomorrow is dependent on the decisions, the how much I would evolve from today. And evolving doesn't mean taking 1 million courses or rushing to do everything. Evolving can even mean being silent. Evolving
Right.
can even mean taking a break off social media. Like, I try to be as balanced as possible, that there's no one straight way to evolving, right? So back to the question is,
That's right.
it's, I don't want you to see, I want you to change your perspective from a fixed mindset of behind to a growth mindset of, I am evolving, I'm on a journey. Where I am was not where I was, and I'm grateful for that moment. But I would continue to do things that would help me leave where I am and propel myself to where I want to go, or where I want to be.
That's nice. So I can keep it short. Be humble and keep evolving. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all
Yeah.
it is. Thank you so much, Hephzibah, for
Thank you so
joining me
much.
today. I think what make this conversation powerful is not about the achievement, the books, or the corporate experience. As you said, it's the humble discipline, the courage, and the self-awareness behind it all. And
Yeah.
that's what this podcast is really about. Life behind the curtains is not about the spotlight. It's about the stretch. It's about the silent decision, as I
Mm.
mentioned in the beginning, and it's about the seasons nobody uploads, but that shape who you become. And today we have seen that. To everyone listening, remember this: you don't have to be loud to be impactful, you don't have to burn out to prove you are ambitious, and you don't have to figure it all out to take the next step. As Hephzibah mentioned, growth is happening, keep evolving, even no one sees it.
Yeah.
So this is Life Behind the Curtains, where we honor the process behind the progress. Until next time, keep building, keep evolving, and don't be afraid of who you are becoming. Thank you so much for joining today.
Amazing.